Tonight, two of America's fiercest adversaries together on North Korean soil. Vladimir Putin arriving in Pyongyang for the first time in nearly a quarter of a century, greeting the Russian president on the red carpet, Kim Jong-un, talking animatedly, each leader insisting the other enter the limousine first.
Something stunning is happening right now in North Korea, something that's beyond the comprehension of the whole of our legacy media and is, in a very real way, changing the world like never before. We're going to get a front row seat on precisely what's happening in this meeting and how it promises to change the world order in ways that will absolutely blow your mind. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you stay sane in these insane times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button, and let's dive right in. Russian President Vladimir Putin is in North Korea this week, the first official visit to the reclusive nation in over 2 decades. Putin is, of course, being greeted with the most extravagant fanfare imaginable in a summit that promises to be of mutual benefit to both nations. Already, the two nations signed a mutual defense pact that functions much like an Article 5 of the NATO Charter that requires each nation to come to the other's aid in case of military attack. But in many ways, this summit is going far beyond mere militaristic alliances. The visit by Putin is actually an extension of a previous visit made by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to Russia a few months back when he attended the Eastern Economic Forum held in Vladivostok, the most far eastern city in the Russian Federation. It was Kim Jong-un's first international trip in years, since 2019, and it underscored the reality of the new multipolar world rising in the East, signaling the emergence of an economic union between the 3 poles of Russia, China, and North Korea. Now, the union would be formalized by North Korea most likely entering into what's called the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the SCO, with the support of Russia and China, which would further integrate North Korea into this emerging multipolar world order. What all of this means is that with Russia's help, North Korea is fast turning from a renegade nation isolated by the international community to a highly relevant nation embraced by and assimilated into the new emerging international community. Now, at one level, we could easily fault the collective West for this. The massive sanctions they've imposed on both Russia and North Korea obviously would inevitably only end up driving them both into each other's arms, with China wrapping its arms around both. That, it seems to me, was inevitable. Transforming Russia into the single most sanctioned nation on the planet would only end up driving Russia into the arms of other comparably sanctioned nations like North Korea and Iran, which, of course, is exactly what has happened, particularly with Iran joining membership in the massive BRICS economic bloc, which now encompasses nearly half the world's population. But something else is going on in North Korea as we speak, something even more stunning and more long-lasting. And that is what's really going to blow your mind. But first, you all know I'm very passionate about the fact that we simply can't rescue our nation if we don't first take care of ourselves. And health starts actually with our livers. If you think about it, we throw everything to our livers. Cholesterol, alcohol, toxins, Tylenol, statins, cigarettes, you name it. That's why so many of us have sluggish, fatty livers that makes us gain weight and lose energy. But thanks to today's sponsor, there's a very real solution. Liver Health Formula is an all-natural supplement which contains 12 clinically proven botanicals that help recharge and protect your liver. It's manufactured right here in the good old USA and approved by independent American doctors. And if you click on that link below right now, you could try Liver Health Formula and receive a free bottle of blood sugar formula when you order today. So don't let a fatty liver keep you sluggish and inactive. Gang, as many of you know, I myself recently lost over 60 pounds, and I could say it was one of the best decisions I ever made. So now it's your turn. Click on that link below or go to getliverhelp.com/Turley and claim your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Turley. One of the most significant events of this trip, one that our legacy media again has completely ignored, is Putin's visit to a Russian Orthodox church that was built at the behest of Kim Jong-un as a symbol of the alliance between Russia and North Korea. And for me, this symbol actually represents the single most important takeaway from the summit between Putin and Kim. It's not the military alliance, although that's certainly formidable. It's not the economic pact, which of course will be wide-ranging. No, as important as those things are, the most important takeaway in all of this is how this meeting actually reveals a fundamentally new world rising, a new world that has effectively put an end to the old modern paradigm of democracy versus autocracy or freedom versus tyranny. That is an old, outdated frame that unfortunately continues to pervade our politics right here at home, right? The legacy media being a literal artifact from the now defunct modern age that's increasingly being replaced by a postmodern age centered around culture, custom, and tradition. That old modern media is obsessed with tainting Donald Trump as a would-be dictator. Make sure you get that. As far as the legacy media is concerned, if you're not a liberal, if you're not a modern Western liberal, then by definition, you are an oppressive authoritarian. And the irony to that, of course, is that liberals today are some of the most illiberal, oppressive forces on the planet. They are the ones trying to lock up their political opponents. They are the ones excommunicating and publicly purging dissenting voices through their relentless use of cancel culture and the like. But regardless, what we have to understand is that there's another way of looking at what's happening right now in North Korea. Another way than that old, tired, worn-out notion of freedom versus tyranny or democracy versus autocracy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I want to go and live in North Korea. That's not the point. The point is simply this. We are living in the midst of the rise of a new kind of politics. Actually, in many respects, it's the resurgence of a very old and ancient form of politics, what we might call sacred politics, where religion and the state are once again overlapping. Now, this is so key to understanding what's happening here. It's the same key to understanding actually the rise of Christian nationalism in our own nation. Now, there's a whole set of reasons for this. We talk about this often on this channel, so make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button to keep up. But bottom line, because the Enlightenment modernist project is waning all over the world, a 300-year political and economic project, because that's imploding, because it's waning, the unique characteristic of the separation between religion and politics is comparably waning. That's what you have to get. And nowhere are we seeing the emergence of this sacred politics, of this overlap between religion and state, than in Russia and, yes, in North Korea. Now, at this point, you might be saying, okay, I get it, Russia. Yeah, sure, of course. See how the Russian Orthodox Church has risen to a prominence not seen since the days of the czars. I get that. But Turley, freaking North Korea? The communist dictatorship of North Korea? What the heck are you smoking, right? Yeah, I get it. But that's exactly what more and more scholars are actually realizing about North Korea. One of the most important studies to come out of late is the book entitled The Cleanest Race, How North Koreans See Themselves and Why It Matters. It was written by North Korean scholar Brian Reynolds Myers. And there Myers argues that North Korean society is not so much a Marxist or communist society, but rather one modeled after the emperor worship inherited from Japanese fascism. Right? We have to remember that Korea was occupied by Japan for most of the first half of the 20th century. And Myers argues that this is key. Whatever Marxist and communist structures are in place in North Korea, we have to see such structures under the rule of a reigning religious ideology that has more in common with Emperor Hirohito than it does with Stalin or Lenin. This would account for the mythology that pervades North Korea, the eternal divine nature of Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea. And that mythology, that defined mythology that surrounds Kim Il-sung, is very much comparable to the Shinto notion of the divine nature of the emperor. And here's the key. More and more scholars are realizing that apart from that political theology, apart from the state religion of basically emperor worship, North Korea simply could not exist. It would have socially imploded decades ago. For right or for wrong, The cult of personality surrounding the ruling Kim dynasty has functioned as a state religion that has successfully regulated the daily lives of North Koreans and has been central to the regime's survival over all of these decades, with no indication whatsoever that that survival is in any way coming to an end. This is the politics of a new civilizationalist world that's rising, a world that's going back to nation, culture, custom, tradition, and religion as the way forward into the future. And that's the world, at least in one of its forms, that we are seeing on display this week in North Korea. Here's your opportunity to tell big tech tyrants where they can stick it. Click on that link below and download our brand new cancel-proof Turley Talks app, and you can sign our special declaration of restoration. That's our petition to big tech that declares a new day is dawned. They are no longer in control, and we are taking our nation back. We've already got over 1,000 signatures of courageous patriots, and yours is next. Click on that link below or go to fight.turleytalks.com right now.